I'm getting all the books I've been wanting to read. Is luck just on my side today? Who knows? I'm gonna jinx it. Oh my god. Hello everyone, it's Aika. If you've never seen any of my videos before, hi, nice to meet you, and if you have, welcome back. I wanted to do a TBR jar picks my summer reads type of video today, but then I realized I can't do that because the regular TBR jar uses prompts and I don't actually have all of my books on hand right now. I only have the books behind me and all of the rest of my books are packed up in the garage, and I really don't want to go digging through that. It's in like 3 boxes. There's so many, and it was a struggle trying to put them all in the boxes. I had to have my boyfriend carry them from upstairs to the garage because there was no way in hell I was lifting all of that. And the thing is, I absolutely love the idea of doing a TBR jar with prompts in it, and I think it's so cute. But since I can't do that, I'm just gonna do blindly picking my summer TBR, and I'm going to do it like a TBR jar because I've seen a few people do it by wrapping their physical TBR in like brown paper and then picking through that. Like they'll number it and then they'll have a little jar with the numbers, and they'll draw a number from the jar and then they'll get the book. I'm too lazy to wrap up my books. Also, then I don't know how my bookshelf would look because it'll just be like all wrapped up little squares or little rectangles. So instead, I'm just going to be putting book titles into a tiny little jar or container or something, and I'm just gonna draw off of that. I think that's a good compromise until I can actually do a TBR jar prompts picks my TBR. And I'm going to do this for summer, and by that I mean I'm gonna do this for June and July because it's already mid-June that I'm making this, and I'm technically on summer until the end of September. I don't start school until then, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't even know how many books I have in my room, but some of these books I can't actually read because they're either special edition and I'm too scared to read them, or it's part of a series and I only have the second book on the shelf because the first book is in the garage. I just got my folder from my backpack, and this is where I'm going to be writing down these titles. And is this lazy or is this eco-friendly? A little bit of both. This is my History of American Women syllabus, and I do have to say I ate up that class. My average exam scores were like 101. But this is what the shelves are looking like right now. Oh, there's no books up there. And I'm just gonna go through it, and for series I'm just gonna do the first book of the series because once I start the first book I have to finish it, or else I'm gonna procrastinate it and then next thing I know I forget what happens in the first book and I can't read the second book. So I have some standalones or first books. I have Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asker. Then I have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I have Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. I have Hollowed Games by C.N. Crawford. Rise of the Cinder Fae by Whitney Dean. The Light That Blinds Us by Andy Darcy Theo. Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind, which I received as an ARC from the publisher, but it is released. It's been on sale for a few days now. And then I have a couple series. I'm gonna put Powerless in here, but if I read Powerless, then I'm automatically reading Powerful, and also Reckless when it comes out early next month. Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, which I would do a reread of so that I can read Never a Hero finally. I don't know when book 3 is coming out. I wish I did, but I don't. Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. And finally, the Promised in Fire trilogy by Jasmine Walt. And this is big. This I'm kind of nervous about, but not picking. TBR jar is. I just wrote down all of the titles on a piece of paper, and I'm gonna cut these up, and then I'm going to put them in a little jar. Why is everything so staticky today? I cut, folded, and rolled all of the papers, and I have 13 choices and 18 bucks. So now I just need to draw this out of something, and I'm too lazy to get a jar. So what I'm gonna do is instead, I'm gonna use this. This is a cowboy boot shot glass I got from when I was in San Diego. I could just take the glass out. And let's just drop these here and just draw right out of it. Okay, isn't this little boot so cute? I hope this is shuffling it enough. Me hoping that I'm shuffling it enough, meanwhile I'm like really aggressively shaking it. And I think I'm gonna choose 5 or 6. That's the number I'm gonna be aiming for because I do wanna finish these by July so I can do something more fun for August. And I do have an exception. If I don't pull Powerless from this, I am going to be reading it regardless because I really want to read Powerless and read Reckless when it comes out because I feel like I missed out on the Powerless hype. I have been following Lauren Roberts for years on TikTok when she first pitched the idea, and I never realized that she self-published it, and then I never found out about it again until Simon & Schuster were republishing it. But then when they republished it, I had to wait like another year, and then I just somehow never got around to reading it. So let's hope I got Powerless in there. If not, I'm still gonna read it regardless. There are some books in here that I am wanting to read more than others. Oh, okay. I did not mean to shake it without holding the top. That was really stupid, but one fell out, so let's just open it. It's Powerless. It's Powerless. Okay, ignore my nails. I know they're really ugly. They're really janky. I need to repaint them, but I've been lazy. Okay, that's good. I wanted Powerless and I got Powerless, so first is Powerless and Powerful, and I do want to do a tandem read of this, but I am going to count this as 2 books, not necessarily Powerful. I'm counting Powerful and Powerless as 1 book because I want to tandem read it, but Reckless is another book, so that's 2 books already. Maybe I'll do 7. Let's say 7. Me saying 7 as if I'm going to get through all of it. I don't know, I'm really scared of setting a goal that's too high and then not completing it. I have a fear of failure. Next one. Rise of the Cinder Fae by Whitney Dean. I'm actually really looking forward to reading this. This wasn't one of the books I had in mind, but this does sound really interesting. It's a sort of Cinderella retelling with fae, and instead of a glass slipper, there's a magical glass bridge. I'm really excited for this. This was sent to me by the Nerd Fam, and look at that cover. But isn't that cover just... This cover is everything, especially under the dust jacket. But yeah, there's magic, there's fae, there's enemies to lovers, there's a prince. Everything I love in a book. Most of these books are like that. Most of these books are enemies to lovers and fantasy romance. I think all of them actually are. No, not all of them, but a good amount of them. So that's 3 books. I have, let's say 3 or 4 more. Violet Made of Thorns. I'm getting all the books I've been wanting to read because I was actually really thinking about starting Violet Made of Thorns because I'm still finishing up a study in Drowning right now. I have about 70-ish pages left, and after that I was going to do Violet Made of Thorns, and then I was going to film this video, but I'm kind of glad I got Violet Made of Thorns. I've been wanting to read this book for forever because I saw this one person make a TikTok and it was like, The Cruel Prince but with more romance. And I was like, heck yeah, Cruel Prince with more romance? That's right up my alley. But I don't actually know if it will be like The Cruel Prince with more romance. I just heard one person say it and I took their word for it. But it's enemies to lovers, it's morally gray characters. She is a false prophet and she gives a prophecy to the prince. She awakens a dreaded curse, not deadly. I'm gonna do 3 more draws, but then I'm gonna put the ones that I already got back in here, and that's gonna be the order that I read them in. Next is The Hurricane Wars. Oh my god, hello? The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon, and this I'm especially excited about. I'm scoring on these. I really am. I don't actually know how this goes. All I know is that I heard it was very good and I'm really excited for it. I follow the author on Instagram and she posts memes of the book on her page and I think they're hilarious, so I'm really excited to know what she's talking about. There is a girl with light powers, there is a prince with dark shadow powers. Again, it's enemies to lovers. How surprising. Okay, depending on what I get this next one, if it's a duology or a trilogy, I'm gonna stop there. But if it's another single book, then I'll pick another one after that. Only a Monster. Okay, these are good. I'm gonna keep it at that because it's a duology. I've been meaning to reread this for forever and now I don't have a choice but to reread it and then read Never a Hero. And I actually really loved Only a Monster. But Only a Monster is a young adult, kind of enemies to lovers. It's definitely more fantasy based than romantasy. It's definitely a subplot of romance. There's a love triangle in it, I think. I'm not sure because I've never read the second book, but it's a world with monsters and the different monsters are part of different clans. Aside from having their own powers, depending on what clan they're in, they can time travel, but in order to time travel, they have to steal time away from human lives. So she thought she was human, turns out she's one of the monsters. She goes on a date with this guy who turns out to be the prophesized hero who kills all the monsters. They end up going into this museum, which is hosting like a monster gathering, and then bad things happen. And she's stuck with this hero and she finds out that she's a monster, and then she has to work with this other monster whose family rivals hers. Let's pick out the order that I'm gonna read these books in. Ideally, Powerless would come in second or third so that I could read Reckless right after, or even last. As long as I have Reckless to start, I just don't want Powerless to be first. Let's give it a really hefty shake there. First book that I'm reading, Rise of the Cinder Fae. Okay. So this is book one that I'm reading as soon as I finish A Study in Drowning, which I'm planning on finishing tonight. And next one is going to be Violet Made of Thorns. I'm getting really lucky with these. Is luck just on my side today? Who knows? I'm gonna jinx it. Oh my god. Only a Monster. Powerless. Okay, nice. So it looks like I'm gonna be reading Powerless in July, which is exactly what I wanted. And then the last read I'm gonna do from this pile is going to be The Hurricane Wars. This is good. These were good choices. Luck was on my side today. This is my TBR, my summer TBR. Hopefully only until July, because I'm hoping that I'd be getting through all of these by July and get back into my little reading groove, and then I could read some more books before I actually start my classes. This is exciting. I like this. This was fun, and it takes the choice out of my hands so I can't be indecisive or change my mind at the last minute. That was this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!